This weekend, I devoured one of the most interesting books that I've read in quite some time, The Golden Spoon by Jessa Maxwell. Now, the fact that I finished the book less than 24 hours after I started it should tell you something about its quality. But I also have to say that my appreciation for The Golden Spoon is not without at least one qualification, one quibble that may or may not be minor. But first, let's talk about the premise of this book. The Golden Spoon is a mystery novel, and there is a murder, but I wouldn't necessarily call it a murder mystery. The bulk of the novel, 200 or so of the book's 280 pages, details the lead up to the murder. This lead up is told from the perspectives of several different characters, participants in a reality TV show called Bake Week that is heavily inspired by the real-life Great British Baking Show. The viewpoint characters are all either contestants or hosts in the show, but as the book goes on, their motives and their backstories become more and more complex. So that's the premise. Now let's talk about one thing I liked, one thing I didn't like, and what's my takeaway. I'm going to keep this as spoiler-free as possible, but no promises. You have been warned. Now, my favorite thing about this book is that it's very much not a typical mystery. There's still mystery and drama, with the drama mostly coming from the Bake Week portion of the story. But it's less of a whodunit and more of an exploration. An exploration of the past, an exploration of these characters, but really an exploration of a premise. What if a murder happened on the set of a reality baking TV show? What would be the circumstances leading up to it, the motives, the repercussions? The novel wears its Great British Baking Show inspiration on its sleeve. It's very clear that the writer loves the show. And I love that this is a mystery that is mostly about the behind-the-scenes drama on a baking show and not about grisly murder scenes and police procedures. It's unique, it's refreshing, it's different, and I like it a lot. As I mentioned before, there are multiple narrative viewpoints. Some of these narrators, and I won't tell you how many, but I will tell you it's more than one and less than all, are unreliable narrators. Now, I've loved the unreliable narrator shtick since the first time that I was duped by it. But it's a tricky beast. It has to be done well, convincingly, especially when readers are now on alert for it anytime that there is a first-person narrator. And the author accomplishes that in The Golden Spoon. I suspected that there were unreliable narrators, but I couldn't pinpoint some of them until the epilogue. But I feel the author cheats just a little bit to make it happen. An unreliable narrator has to be unreliable without feeling like the author is just flat out lying to the reader to make it work. I'm trying to be vague here so that I don't spoil anything, but there's a scene where two unreliable narrators are alone together. They both know that they're unreliable, and they're both unreliable about the same situation. In other words, there's no reason for them to keep pretending, except to fool the reader. And yet, they do keep pretending, in their words, in their actions, and even in their thoughts. That definitely spoiled some of the fun for me. But it didn't spoil it enough for me to not thoroughly enjoy this book. If you like baking, reality TV, or just a good unconventional murder mystery, then you could do worse than The Golden Spoon. It's definitely a page-turner. Unless you're a good deal more clever than me, and to be fair, you probably are, it will keep you guessing right up until the end. My takeaway is, you need to read this book. Thank you so much for watching.